that we have also a professional factor when we talk about rehabilitation, that the people in the south are not just as good in the profession as the people in the north. On the other hand, we'll also have to isolate slowly, year by year, that if we can concrete the physical factor, so we only can say that when he is not able to walk yet, it is not because of the physical factor. It must be due to a psychological factor, that it plays a big role, that he is not as motivated as the patient beside him. So we slowly get closer, that we can isolate what is that someone will succeed and someone will fail. Where is the challenge? Is it a staff challenge of incompetences, or is it a psychological problem that we have to deal with more than we'll have to deal with the physical training? So now we are more than 100, in 3 years, 150 different institutions in Denmark now use the ICF language and describe the patients from the ICF functionality schedules. How do we describe a lost functionality? So we know from kindergarten that we slowly try to train the pedagogues, the therapists, to see the same thing. How do you describe this? But we have also can share the same visions for this person if we have the same pictures. The other thing is that a person who will be in a need after when he has finished or close to finish the hospital, he has a legal right as a citizen that within 1 week from leaving the hospital, there should be pointed out a rehabilitation team in my municipality. There should also be written that the change of the draft of a rehabilitation plan into a personal rehabilitation plan. All this will have to take place in 1 week. So I, as a citizen, can have the right or the expectation that within 1 week I leave the hospital, I will have a plan and I will have a contact person. And this contact person, and it could be a doctor, it can be a physical therapist, it could be a psychologist, a pedagogue, or anyone who will be a part of this team, will now be my contact person for many years, because I only need to contact one person about my rehabilitation. And it is this person who on a certain time will be the person who is coordinating. Are there something about home care? Is there something about equipment? And it will also be the person who contacted Ole on time. Now we need to start talking about job counseling. But there are only one person. You are not supposed to call 3 or 4 or 5, 6 persons to find out. There is one way into the system for you, and then you have a name, and she is responsible for your rehabilitation system, rehabilitation. So these are the 4 steps we normally describe and will slowly develop. Now there's of course there's a little difference between the municipality plans, but slowly we will find the best plan from in the previous system with the counties. I can tell you we had 14 different languages about rehabilitation in Denmark, because every county had their own right to define how do we do it. That we try to eliminate now, because even handicapped people also move around. So the staff will be a group of specialists, generalists. They are obliged to start up to take the contact to the workplaces, to the work test center or to Ole. They are also responsible for that the local patient associations will be presented for the person and will be contacted, and the person will have the support from the associations. What kind of pharmacy contacts should you have, and what kind of other support groups and voluntary groups could be important for you in your future life. Not today, not about a week, but about 5 weeks, 5 years for the future, but still it will be the same person. There will be marked that there's a number of conversations will have to take place. We'll have when will we, in your case, have to make status evaluations according to the selected ICF components. When will we test you? Is it about 2 months, 3 months? So we make sure that we don't train or rehabilitate people without any effect. And we have been doing that for Denmark for many years, I can tell you. People went for training at centers for months, and no one ever know what is the purpose. Oh, he need to be better to walk. Oh, that's good, then we'll train 3 months more. But no one ever know what is the limit and what was the use of this. Now we are very, very precise about that. When we educate all our students, 15 meters is something that is very close to a law in Denmark, that everyone who are in social health should be aware of the 15 meters opportunity, because if you can walk 15 meters, you can walk 85% of what you need. It's very important. Try, go home, put a red, what's the name of it? Something you tie in your bag, and put it on the best chair in your room and see how far you can come with 15 meters. Most of us can come to the toilet, the kitchen, we can go everywhere. We can't run, but we can. The other thing that about this psychological, of course, we will have all the therapeutical support, and we give them to, but we also now are convinced about that we need to educate these people. So in a basic manner, they are educated in their own diseases or in their own accidents. We now not only give them therapy from the crisis theory, we educate them in crisis, we educate them in the illness, we educate them so they can have not a personal understanding of my own situation, but I can also have another view on myself that it's not me, it's what the situation do about me. And it has shown tremendous results, even in towards schizophrenia people, that educate them in what is schizophrenia. I think it's a very basic thing that we have missed for many years, that the people who were closest to the illness were the one we didn't educate about them. So this is one of the developing area, that how do you do that? Of course, there are different. There's a huge difference in educating people who are supposed to be nurses and what kind of education you should give patients. But we also educate them in diet, nutrition, illness, medicine. How do you handle health equipment? So we try to move you away from being a client that should be served to a person who make your own requirements, and you do it together with the person that was appointed as your contact person. But you shouldn't ask for, you should know your rights. So we have to deal with them. And the last step of this training program will be what will the status follow the years to come. So these are the 4 steps. And it all starts on what I also think is a decision in Austria, that when you are in an accident or you are becoming sick, rehabilitation starts and takes place on day 1, and it's not something we go for. You don't go for rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is something that takes place 24 hours a day. And that's why the reason why we changed this was that we have this picture. I think you have had it in Austria too, the waste of good money, that we could see the great effects of the hospital rehabilitation, but as soon as we left the county system and went into the care system paid by the municipality, then we lost for 300,000 Danish kroners rehabilitation for every patient. In the hospital and the rehabilitation center, they trained people to walk and and we were about 1 year to lose it again in the municipalities. And it was a system that went on, that they were very clever in the hospitals, but the rehabilitation stopped when. That's why we changed the educational system in 1991 from the fact that no one in social and health care, everyone should be able to work with the rehabilitation. Everyone will have to understand that we are moving away from treatment to learning, that every process you have with these patients is a learning process. Just as we raise our children, we can give care, but we also train in our care. So all kind of educational systems or educational level should be able to be a part of rehabilitation. So, yes, time is running. When it comes to the companies, I think we made some years ago, I don't think we did, our government made what we call the social chapter about companies' responsibility in society. What is the profile of a good company in 2005 and the period ahead? What is it? Just as we have the ethical chapter, we have that you don't have to destroy the environment, then we won't buy your goods. In the same way, we have now put on an agenda that in a few years it is not a good for your image if you don't live up to the social chapter as a company in Denmark. You will find that there will be municipality who will slow down how much they buy if you don't live up to the social chapter. And the social chapter is that any company in Denmark should be a profile of the society. That you should have handicapped people in the same percent as there are handicapped people in the society. You should have immigrants in the same percent as there are immigrants in the society. And it has changed the discussions, but there are still a lot of steps to walk in the future. But what I have experienced, I can say as a part of the management at the Social and Healthcare College, was in fact that the biggest challenge to integrate handicapped people in our workplace was the college. It was not the management, it was the people who were supposed to work with them. From the discussion of salary I told you before, is that fair that people who are going home at dinner will have the same salary? When we ask our employees, try to find 1 or 2 or 3 functions in your job that could be done by a person who will be in a supported job, people reacted with, that's what I am living off. That's what makes my job easier. Will I now have to deliver all the easy stuff in my job to another person and then have some more heavy stuff? No. That's not good. This kind of discussions we had for a long period, and for the first time in my history, about 20 years in the Social and Healthcare College, I heard for the first time the discussion, those and us. I have never heard that before, that there are someone who is not a part of the rest of us. They are here, those other peoples, and then the rest of us. And even when we came to reduce in a period how many people we should be, who will go first? Of course, people on supported job. And you can see it in Denmark during the financial crisis that this is a problem. We raised to a number of about 7% in unemployment, but almost half of people in FlexJob were fired because you couldn't fire a not supported person and keep a supported person. It was not possible. So there is a lot of stuff, and I think the next EU-sponsored project should be about how you make workplaces more tolerant. How do we deal with these problems? Thank you.